Hey Lawn Care Nation, so it's been over 1 year now since Kress North America sent over a bunch of their brand new 60 volt commercial lawn care tools for me to test and use in my lawn care business. And I've been using them every day as the predominant tools in my business for just over that year now, using them on average about 10 to 12 lawns per day. So that means that it's time to do my long-term honest review of the Kress Commercial equipment. So I thought I would do a series of videos with each one highlighting a specific tool. And in this video, we're going to start out with the Kress 60 volt commercial lawn mower. So let's jump into it. Okay, so this is the Kress North America 60 volt commercial grade lawn mower. And like I said, I've been using this now for an entire full season in my lawn care business, just over 1 year that I've owned this piece of equipment. And you can see that it has been used quite a bit. I've been using it as the predominant lawnmower in my lawn care business, servicing all of the sort of smaller, dense city lots. And on average, I mow about 12 lawns per day with this particular unit throughout the course of the lawn care season. I have used this unit in all sorts of weather conditions, from really hot days to wet, very soggy, rainy days. I've used it to do leaf cleanups with it, and I have even used it through what I call Hell Month, which is the heaviest growing period in the spring, where lawns here in the Pacific Northwest grow like crazy, and they're always green and wet and lush. So I've put this unit through a range of all the different conditions you could think of, and have a good sense of what this mower is capable of, and what I like and what I dislike about it. So let's go over that. Okay, so let's start out with what I really like about this mower, and topping the list for sure is the lack of maintenance required. No oil changes, no fueling up, no fuel filters, spark plugs, or any of that sort of stuff. The only thing you need to do with this mower on a consistent basis is just make sure that the deck is clean and that the blades are sharp, and that's it. Away you go. It's ready for work each and every day, as long as you've got a recharged battery ready to go for it. Okay, so my second favorite thing about this mower is the actual battery runtime, and that's the thing I get the most questions about, is how long does it last. But it's a really difficult question to answer because there's just so many variables when you're using battery powered mowers. So on this particular mower, there's 3 different variables that can affect how long that battery runtime. The first is what blade you have installed. So this mower comes with what I call a high efficiency blade. It's a blade that has a very flat profile, doesn't have any sort of high lift or anything to it, and it's good for probably about 80% of the scenarios that you're mowing if you're doing regular weekly cutting with it. But if you're getting into taller grass or wet grass, things like that, you're going to need to switch to a high lift blade. Or if you're mulching, you're going to want to switch to a mulching blade for this particular unit. And all those things can affect that battery runtime. The other thing is what power setting you have on it. This unit can be run on 2 different power settings. There's a low and a high power setting that affect the RPM. So the higher setting is going to use more power. I have found, though, on the low power setting that it is more than enough power to get through, again, about 80% of the scenarios that I need it for. The only time I actually put this unit into the high power mode is when I'm getting into the wet, heavy spring, and there's lawns that have, maybe growing 6 to 8 inches a week that I'm cutting, and it's always wet and that sort of thing, and I'm trying to bag those clippings, is when I'll pop it into that high mode. The other scenario that affects the battery runtime is what size battery you're using in it. The nice thing about the Kress is that it's so versatile with the batteries that you can use. You can fit everything from their tiny little 4 amp hour nano battery all the way up to their brand new 25 amp hour cyber capsule battery will fit inside this unit as well, and be able to run it. Now, for the majority of the year, I've been using their what I call their 11 amp hour suitcase battery, which I've got loaded in there right now. and that unit there is a 660 watt hour battery, which translates into an 11 amp hour battery. So with this particular battery, and running the different blades on it, and again running it on that lower power up, just run through a couple of different scenarios to kind of give you guys an idea. So doing the dense type city type properties that I do with lawns that kind of are about this size that you can see here, back and front, with the 11 amp hour battery and the high efficiency blade running on the low power, I can get through easily 10 lawns on one battery, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, switching to the high lift blades, which I run probably all year long now that I've switched, that efficiency still on the low power drops that down to about 7 lawns that I can do with that 11 amp hour battery, low power, high lift blades. Now, when I get to those difficult times of year, or those lawns that are growing extremely long and it's wet, and really tall growth that I'm bagging, so I pop the unit into the high power mode with the high lift blades, then I'm getting about 4 lawns on that 11 amp hour battery. So you can see there's a lot of different variables that can change and affect the runtime, but that gives you a bunch of different scenarios on average for most of the year, through all the different conditions. Like I said, I've always got it on the low. I've always got high lift blade on it. So I'm getting on average about 7 lawns with that 11 amp hour battery in my use case scenario for the majority of the time that I'm mowing with it. So again, one of my other favorite things about this unit is, again, related to batteries, as I kind of previously mentioned, is that versatility of being able to use all different size batteries. So while I'll start off the day with these larger suitcase batteries, the nice thing is I'll have these smaller batteries, say in the string trimmer, or sometimes in the handheld blower and things like that. And I'll get to the last lawn of the day, and I may run just a bit short on this battery to finish off that last lawn. And rather than grabbing another 11 amp hour battery and starting a whole new battery, what I'll do is I'll just take the smaller 4 amp hour battery off the trimmer or off the handheld blower and pop it in the mower to finish off that last lawn. So that versatility of being able to use whatever size batteries that you have in this particular mower is absolutely fantastic. So the next thing that I really like about this mower is the height adjustment on the front and rear. The front and rear are independent of each other, but there's only one height adjustment for both sides. So it's very easy. You can see here, very effortless to pull the lever and drop the mower down, or pull the lever and lift it up. There's no struggling with it. Very simple. Same with the rear. So easy to be able to change the height on both the front and rear wheels, and it's one of the things I love about this mower. It makes changing height or doing height adjustments on the fly very, very easily. So the next thing that I love about this mower is something that you don't often see on commercial mowers, and it's optional on this mower. You can use it or you don't need to use it, and that is the folding handle. So they have these quick release levers here. There's a couple of different settings there, so you can adjust the height of the handles for different height people. So if you're short like me, I've got it on the lower setting. If you're taller, you can just pull those quick releases. There's one on each side. Pull those, turn them to the side there to hold it in place while you adjust it. I'll just try to hold this one with my leg as I pull this out. But you can see here, now that those are released, I can freely move the levers there. You can fold the handle completely over if you wanted to have it tighter storage. It actually has a storage adjustment right there at that height, which kind of puts the handle in line with the front of the mower there. So if you take off the bag, you can see it's got a very compact footprint if you're putting that in your garage or your trailer. So I really love that option of having a folding handle on a commercial mower. Something that I don't understand why a lot of other commercial mowers don't have that option as well. But if you don't like that, the only downside to the folding handle is you don't get that maybe rigidity that you would be expecting or used to with the traditional commercial mowers that don't have a folding handle. When you get this unit, it does come with a couple of extra bolts that allow you to bolt the handle in place if you don't want to use the folding handle feature. Okay, so my next favorite thing about this unit is that it allows for the self-propel to be used without the blade spinning. So this particular mower has an independent second motor to power the transmission. So the transmission is not, or the self-propel working is not dependent on whether the mower itself is spinning the blade and cutting grass or anything like that. So that makes being able to move this mower across things like gravel pathways and things like that without the risk of the blade spinning and slinging rocks and being dangerous and stuff, while still being able to use the self-propel to help you with that momentum to get it over those types of surfaces. Really handy. Some of the other units on the market are dependent on the actual unit being turned on and actually spinning the blade to make the self-propel work, where this one doesn't. The other nice thing about this one is that with the self-propel, it doesn't lock up the rear wheels like I've tried with some other units as well that had that independent motor that allowed for the self-propel to be independent from the actual blades cutting. What I found on some other units is that when you're going forward and then you go to turn, that rear wheel locks up, and you have to actually time when you release the self-propel to make sure that the rear wheels don't lock up. On this unit, it doesn't do that, so it works absolutely perfectly. As soon as you finish your self-propel and you're doing, say, a run mowing, and you let go of the self-propel and you go to turn, the wheels are free spinning. It's not locked up. You don't have to wait. You don't have to time when you're releasing the self-propel to get it to get the wheels to free rotate or anything like that. It works just as well as any sort of gas commercial unit, like say a Honda HRC 216 or something like that, comparable with like a hydrostatic transmission where you let go of the self-propel and it just freely rotates and works like that. So with that option, absolutely fantastic. I use it all the time. I work in a very hilly area, so a lot of sloped driveways and things like that I gotta take the mower up, and having the self-propel working independently of the mower blade spinning is absolutely fantastic. So the next thing that I really like about this mower is something that's not specific to this mower, but battery mowers in general, and that is being able to have those two different power settings so that you can get either longer run time with lower RPM or higher RPM and less run time depending on your conditions. So that really helps in the efficiency of using a battery mower and doesn't affect the speed or anything like that in terms of the self-propel. But just really allows you to dial in how much power you need for the specific job. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. That sounds like the perfect mower, or at least that's what I'm making it sound out to be. But is there anything that I didn't like about this mower? Were there any issues with this mower? Of course, no product is perfect. And what might bother me about a particular item might be something that you like about a particular item. With this particular mower, I didn't have any major breakdowns. I didn't have anything that prevented me on a daily basis from using it. There was no major issues with the mower, but there were a few minor things that I don't like about it, and a couple of wear and tear items. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so one of the things that I don't like about this particular mower is kind of related to one of the things I really do like about this particular mower, and that is that independent transmission. So while it allows you to be able to use the self-propel independently from the blades spinning, which is fantastic. One of the things that is more difficult to get used to is the sort of speed control on it. Now, with a traditional hydrostatic type mower, like the Honda HRC 216s, where the self-propel lever acts kind of like a gas pedal or accelerator in a car, meaning the more you squeeze it, the faster you're going to go. On the Kress mower with the independent transmission there, this lever is really just an on-off switch. So it doesn't matter if you're lightly squeezing it or if you're fully squeezing it, the result is the same. All this does is turn on the self-propel, and it's going to go at whatever. You can see the little speed there from walking to running. So depending on what you have this particular little lever on the side set to is what determines your actual speed. So it's just a little bit more difficult to get used to when you're used to the sort of the hydrostatic transmissions that you can kind of squeeze and control on the fly. You can speed up and slow down just by squeezing the lever. With the hydrostatic transmissions, you get a lot smoother mowing experience. With this particular transmission, it takes a lot to get used to having the speed sort of set at a particular speed and this just being an on off. So that means if you have this at a faster speed and you want to slow down, you generally end up releasing the self-propel and just kind of pushing it at the pace that you want and then picking back up. It's not as convenient to be mowing, say, with one hand on the lever and then reaching over and kind of trying to adjust this on the fly. So this ends up being a little bit more of a jerky experience using the self-propel, but it does work well. Over time, you start to get used to it. It doesn't bother you as much as it does in the beginning when you're coming from a hydrostatic style transmission where you can kind of control that speed, and then going to this where it's just basically on off with the speed set. So I'm not sure if that's something they can fix in the future with the newer models, is having sort of that independent transmission, but still being able to adjust the speed depending on how much you squeeze that lever. I think would be an ideal scenario to have sort of the best of both worlds of being able to use the self-propel without the blades, but then also being able to just control the speed with how much you're squeezing the lever there. So the other thing that kind of bothers me about the Kress mower is kind of related to the handles here, and it's not something that is specific to Kress, but commercial mowers in general, and just makes me always wonder, why are the handles on commercial mowers just plain tubed steel? There's no cushion, there's no padding, there's no soft sort of ergonomic sort of thought put into this. It's just a basic metal tube handle, and it seems to be the same on all commercial mowers, whereas the residential counterparts will always have like a nice ergonomic handle with padding and all that sort of stuff. And my thought on that is, you know, the lawn care guys that are using these things all day long, day in and day out, are the ones that need that nice ergonomic handle with you know, the padding and all that sort of stuff. Now this works fine, and I understand that it's, you know, low maintenance and all that sort of stuff, but the positioning of this is not as comfortable as, say, having a handle that's more on a kind of a upward angle on the sides where your wrists can be in a more natural position than this style of handle where if you're using it you know, both hands on there, it's just not as comfortable as sort of that natural ergonomic position of a more ergonomic handle that, say, this residential version of Kress's mowers have. So just something there that I wish they had more thought or nicer ergonomic and padded sort of handles on the commercial mower. The other thing that I find kind of odd on this mower is, while I love the folding handle on it, I don't understand why they wouldn't give you a full folding forward feature where it holds the handle in place. That way you could stand the mower up on the rear wheels. Just seems kind of like an oversight there. So while the handle completely folds over, and that's not an issue, there's nothing to lock the handle in place. So you can't tilt the mower up on its end, even though the rear wheels here kind of line up with this bracket here, and it does stand up on its own. It's just that the handle will not stay in place in that upwards position. So if I tilt the handle and try to tilt the mower, you can see, so while I can easily stand the mower up and like that, the handle doesn't stay in the upward position, say for storage against the wall in a garage, or ideally like in an enclosed trailer or something, you could have that against the wall with a bungee cord around it to hold it in place, which I suppose you could still do with a bungee cord and strap it, but you'd think they'd have some sort of a bracket or a clamp or something maybe up here that would let you just, you know, clamp that in place so that it would stay, and you'd have a maximum sort of storage space there, being able to put it aside when you're not using it. Okay, so that covers everything that I don't really like about it. And as you can see, everything there is just very minor little issues that I think could be improved upon maybe in future versions of this particular mower, but nothing that's a deal breaker per se. I will mention something I learned from using battery powered mowers in general, and it applies to this mower as well. Is that while having the different power settings that you get with battery powered mowers, and having sort of a lower power mode that gives you extended runtime, or a high power mode with a shorter runtime, I will say that if you are using the low power mode, which is what I do 80% of the time, you know, as long as you're doing sort of regular weekly cutting with it, you won't notice any difference in cut quality. But if that lawn is a little bit, you know, tougher condition, a little bit longer cut, then you will notice that the cut quality isn't as good as if you were to use this mower on the higher power setting. So you're getting that full blade tip speed, that full RPM while you're mowing, the full lift if you're using high lift blades. So let's talk about whether or not there have been any sort of major issues with this particular lawnmower. And while there hasn't been anything that has prevented me from using this mower on a daily basis, I've been able to fully rely on this mower with me throughout the course of the year. There has been one little wear and tear item that I should show after 1 year, and that is with the rubber tread or rubber compound on the front wheel. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so after a year of use, I noticed that some of the tread on the front wheel here, you'll see here that tread pattern there, that some of the tread started to come off. You can see little cracks developing there, but some chunks of rubber there. You can see a large chunk of the rubber compound came off the wheel there, particularly on this left front wheel there when standing from behind the mower, but a little wear and tear there. Some little spots there. You can see some more cracking and stuff there on the front wheel. Not so bad on the opposite side, so it could be just a case of when I'm turning or pivoting the mower on say sidewalks when I'm finishing my mowing run. But you can see a little bit of cracking there as well, but none of the tread has come apart on this side like it has on that specific side. But that is the only real wear and tear item that I have noticed on the mower after an entire year of use. So the other item that would be considered a wear and tear item on a battery mower is the batteries. They do degrade over time, but with the Kress Commercial units and their proprietary lithium ion technology that allows some of their crazy recharge times, being able to charge the Cyber pack batteries in as little as 8 minutes if you're using a Cyber tank, or 24 minutes if you're using their regular plug-in chargers. I've noticed no degradation in battery over the course of the year, so I'm still able to mow the same amount of properties consistently warranty today as I did when I first got this mower a year ago. So that's really good. But again, with Kress's as a battery warranty, I wouldn't expect anything different. They've got an industry-leading 3,000 charge cycle, 6-year warranty on those Kress Cyber Pack batteries. So absolutely phenomenal in that regard for warranty on batteries. So I wouldn't expect to see any degradation of the batteries, in that 6-year sort of warranty period time. So that is an awesome bonus. All right, so that wraps up my long-term honest review of the Kress Commercial 60-volt lawnmower. Like I said, it's been absolutely phenomenal throughout this year. It has completely allowed me to step away from using gas lawnmowers for anything that I do in the city with small dense properties, which is the majority of my business. It's all has been with this Kress commercial mower over the past year. So that has been absolutely fantastic. One other thing that I will point out that was kind of a standout feature with this mower was the overall fit and finish. When I got this mower, immediately stood out to me. No runs in the paint, no orange peel, no missed areas of powder coating that I've seen commonly on some other mowers. The cables are all nicely tidy, inside looms and lots of clips and stuff like that. It really feels almost like a European car, like a BMW or a Mercedes or something like that in terms of the engineering on this mower. Just phenomenal fit and finish all the way through. So there you have, Lawn Care Nation. That is my long-term honest review of the Kress Commercial 60-volt mower. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Kress Commercial's offering. So that's it for this one, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.